I'd like to tell you a story. The story about how Murphy came to live with me and be my best friend. This sweet boy here has only been with me since last summer. He was a rescue. And I documented the whole process of rescuing him and bringing him home and integrating him and dealing with his herd of goats on TikTok. So I thought it'd be fun to tell the story here, kind of summarize it all, maybe even watch the TikToks and stuff. Just a warning, this is going to be a long video. It'll probably be 45 minutes, or an hour or something. There's 30 TikToks. But to summarize it all, Mr. Murphy was in a field just a couple properties down from me. And I didn't know anything about them. I knew they were over there, but I didn't know anything about them. I couldn't really see them that well. I could just see them as I walked by or drove by that they were over there. And one day I heard a baby goat panicking. And it's a noise when you have goats, you get to recognize the panic noise. So I went over there to investigate, and there was a baby with its head stuck in the fence. And I rescued it, and I noticed that the adult goats, their hooves needed trimmed really bad. Chester, get out of the way. Their hooves needed trimmed really bad. They were neglected. And I saw goat skulls on the ground. So they had been breeding and dying and stuff in that field and just overall neglected. And I'm not here to judge the owners. I reached out to them and asked for permission to rehome those goats and Murphy. I said, all you have to do is say yes, and I'll take care of everything else. And they said yes. So that's kind of where the videos on TikTok start, is after the owner said yes. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I decided to rescue a herd of goats and a donkey. And that was all new to me. I didn't know how to handle a donkey or any of that. So let's go through those TikToks, and I'll watch them with you and comment on them. And I'll tell the whole story. Don't eat my hair, Rick. I'll tell the whole story of how sweet Murphy became my best friend. Murphy, I wish you could watch them with me and give your thoughts. All right, join me. Let's watch the TikToks. Mwah. Okay, let's get started on these. I've got my super professional microphone set up here so you can hear me nice and clearly. Like I said, it's a bunch of videos. It's like 30 videos. Now at this point, the first video was after I had already seen what the problem was and contacted the lady and gotten her permission to take them. So I was walking into this yard. I don't know these animals. They don't know me. Let's take a peek at how this all started. I've got a woman here that has a small herd that she hasn't been able to care for, so she's volunteered to give them up, and I'm going to help her find a new home for them. I don't know these animals. They don't know me. Look at that. You got Murphy. Find them a new home. Maybe some of them will come live with me. I don't know. Murphy looking at me like he doesn't know what's up. Y'all can join me on. It was so windy that day. I'm scary. Look how scared they are of me. We got, looks like an old donkey and a little goat herd. I couldn't get anywhere near him. That was probably whenever I try to go say hi. 40 feet away. But you can see already Murphy's like, he's coming towards me. He's kind of open to the idea, which surprised me. Hey. I didn't even know his name at this point. Babes? How you doing, babes? I know, I'm scary, but you're all adorable. There's handsome old guy. And there's those horrible hooves. Yeah, look at those hooves. A little help. That's Black Phillip, named after the goat from a movie, Witch. Somebody came over to say hi. I guess I'm not too scary. First day, Murphy came up to me and said hi. I was so excited. Now, remember, I'm not used to dealing with goats or donkeys or horses or anything. So this was kind of a big deal. You're fat already. You just need a little trimming, that's all. Okay, I didn't expect this. After just being here a few seconds. Usually this baby runs from me whenever I walk by at the street. Oh, Murphy. Oh my goodness, you are beautiful. Look at that face. And you're friendly. Who knew? Who knew? Are you still contemplating if you're gonna kick my ass?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. So donkeys can be super protective and super violent. So I wasn't sure if he was there to hurt me or love on me. Turns out he was there to love on me. So that was good. Up next here,
Trying to bribe these sweet babies.
probably a day or two later.
Just getting them to not be so scared of me before I try to wrestle them all into a trailer.
I was bringing treats over
Adorable. Look at that little baby back there.
to try to get them to interact with me.
Little bitty one.
The goats were just terrified of me, couldn't get near me. They never really got over that, as you'll see.
They won't let me get any closer than this. And this is only because I'm behind a fence. You're a handsome fella. The donkey is pretty sweet. He lets me pet him, and he let me even pick up his hooves and look at him. But then he decided I was messing with him too much and kind of ran away.
He still does that if I mess with his hooves. He'll just walk away and he won't come near me.
He's munching on a treat I brought him. Some grapevine.
I still didn't know his name,
I think he may end up living with me.
but I had a sense
Hey,
that
buddy.
he was going to live with me.
Getting too personal before getting all up in your business. Your hooves aren't horrible.
Look at the mats in his
It
fur.
could be worse. Oh, too much, too close. Can I pet you over here? Okay, I'll give you space. We'll try later, okay? Just enjoy that. Bye-bye, buddy.
And you can't hear it over this microphone, but right now Murphy's outside yelling at me because he wants attention. He's already had breakfast though.
I bought some treats to try to bribe Murphy here to like me. Oh, I found out his name's Murphy.
And here's where I got his name.
And it looks like the goats are curious.
And treats are magical. These animals, you know, they've been neglected for a long
Can you let a
time.
goat have a treat?
A sweet treat was a big deal. Goats have a sweet tooth, so something sweet is like magic to them.
Here.
Look at Murphy sniffing all over the
You are a
camera.
handsome guy. Oh, Murphy, you gotta let the goats have a treat. There you go. You can eat that. I threw a treat to the goat. Old man goat got one.
And the goats wouldn't take them from my hands.
Well,
Waddles there would come kind of
I'm the
close.
guy with the treats. You're gonna like me a lot. Here you go. Last one, Murphy.
And so
Last one, buddy.
for a while, I mean, I probably
Last
spent
one.
an hour
Oh,
over
yeah,
there
you
just
don't
giving
stop
them
that goat
treats.
from getting a treat. This little girl's curious since she got a treat. Look at her waddles.
Those waddles are the things hanging off her neck there. I thought they were adorable.
Yeah,
She's pregnant.
Murphy, you being a sweetie? Oh, yeah, you gotta stop her from getting any treats. Yes.
Murphy being protective
You
of the
want all
food,
treats
of
for
course.
yourself. And you, look at your hooves.
Now this is all still.
Because I'm gonna have to
Oh,
hold
look
you
at those
down and cut
hooves.
those.
This is all still in the neighbor's land.
You need it. And you're a handsome
I had not
fella,
collected them
little
yet.
braver. And you both need castrated. Sorry. Bad news for you.
And those boys were intact. I did not end up castrating them.
Okay, I'm kind of terrified.
Okay, this
I've been bribed.
I gotta preface this. This was when I decided it was moving day, and it was the day before moving day. Actually, I took a halter over, and Murphy just let me put it on him in a lead, and he let me walk him around that yard a little bit. So I was like, well, screw it, I'll just walk him home because I just live down the street. But I'm not used to having horses. I'm not used to leading horses. I'm not used to leading donkeys. It's funny now because I can control him. Even if he flips out, I can control him. But back then, I didn't know, and I didn't know what I was doing. And if he had decided to run off, I couldn't have stopped him. And I was holding the lead wrong. It was all pretty funny. Watch how scared I am.
Giving him treats all morning, off and on. And I just put this lead on him to see if he'd follow me. And he kind of is. So we're walking to my house. He's much bigger than me. If he decided he wanted to run when traffic goes by or when a dog barks, he might.
Now I can control
You're
him.
doing so good, Murphy.
When I say he's bigger than me, I mean by
Put the
weight.
phone down because I'm kind of terrified of losing him here.
That was so scary
You're
for
doing
me.
so good, Murphy. We're almost
And
there.
you can see I wrapped it
Walk
around my
right past the
hand.
dog,
I wrapped it around
in
my
the
waist.
car.
Bad
You're
ideas.
doing so freaking good, Murphs.
But he did great. He walked all the way to my house.
There's my goats. They see you, Murphy. What do you guys think? You're going to be in with them probably once you have some time to get adjusted.
He was very curious about my goats.
Yeah, you hear him?
Look at
We're
his
almost
ears.
there. We're so close. It's right there where that tarp is. That's going to be his area for a little while till he gets used to it. Okay.
So I didn't show
so
this,
close, Murphy.
but I brought him over
We're
the day
so close,
before I
buddy.
brought the goats over. And he just paced back and forth in there alone, and he was terrified. And I felt so horrible. I should have brought him the same day I brought some of the goats. So he spent a night without the goats, and he hated it. Then the next day, I went and I started collecting
Spending
goats.
some time with Murphy here.
Oh, yeah.
We're cutting off the mats from his fur. You can see here, it's all matted and dreaded, locked up.
I decided to cut some of his mats
Pulls
off.
on his hair, pulls on his skin. So we're cutting some off.
I had a lot of people suggesting, how to brush them out and stuff. He was scared of brushes, and there was just a few of them, so I cut him out. There's no reason to keep him. It's not like he's a show donkey.
That's a big one, buddy.
So I just cut him off. And he's not mad at anymore, but he does have chicken poop on his back now. We'll get to that. What a sweet boy.
All right, goat rescue.
Okay. So this is the next day when I decided to capture the goats. And I had this whole plan set up, which worked pretty well, actually, but it ended up taking me a bunch of trips, and I didn't record most of it. Let's see what I got.
Today's goat capture day. My crew can't really help me till tomorrow, but I'm impatient. So I'm going to try to do it today. If I can't get them today, I'll get them tomorrow with the crew. Here's my plan. I pulled this gate out of the weeds and fixed it so it works. Pulled that fencing out of the weeds, and I'm going to create a funnel. Sounds easy.
You
I know
create
for my goats,
a funnel, and then you scare them into the funnel, and you can
we will
close
see
it
how it goes.
behind
He's
them.
going caught. All right, let's take him home and come back for more. Murphy, Murph, I got a treat for you in the back of this van.
So he was very
Wow.
concerned not having goats. I was very happy to bring him a goat.
Murphy, I got you another one. There's Philip back there. You do not want to see the gymnastics I had to go through to get this angry boy.
I wish I would have
He's
filmed
not
it
happy at
because it
all.
was wild,
Look at him
me
now.
trying to
We'll get
catch
him out
these
here for you.
things. It was,
Yeah. All right,
there was
he's in it.
tackling involved.
What do you think, Murphy? You feel a little better now? Now
Murphy
that some
was
of your
happy to
herd's
have him
coming
there.
over, now I gotta go get the rest of them.
I don't think he actually
Now I
liked
gotta go get the rest of them.
those goats,
I think that was the tough.
those males, but he was happy to not be alone.
I got the mama and a baby and a teenager. Hey, mama. Hey, baby. I know you're all scared. Let me let you out into the field with your buddies. I'm sorry you're scared.
I was so exhausted,
All right, Scooch Smith.
chasing goats and tackling goats, and they fight. They
Alright.
fight.
Let's let these babies go. Go on, babes. Go on, babies. Go on. Go on out there with Murphy.
They kind of freeze
Go on.
once they're inside the van
The
and
door's
scared,
open. Go.
so I had to get in there and scare them back
Oh,
out.
you're too scared to move. All right, this will get you out. All right, go on. Go on. Go on out there with Murph. Go on. Go on.
There they go.
There you go.
Murphy
There
was
you
much
go.
happier now.
Cuties. This is gonna blow their little minds.
Yeah, they had only had like hay
Probably
for
too
years,
much for them, but oh well. First
so
day
I
at
was
the new
spoiling
place,
them.
They can be a little
A
spoiled.
little bit of grains.
They can get a little bloated. Isn't that right, Murphy? Let's give Murphy a bath.
Okay, so this is
Murphy surprised me
after
with
I
how
got
easily he
all
takes
the goats
out the
there,
halter the
and I
other
wanted
day.
to clean up
And
Murphy.
now that I know he takes
Now
the
I know
halter,
better.
I'm gonna get him like the most comfortable possible halter I can get. I gotta do some shopping though. If anybody out there knows what the most comfortable halter is, I want my boy to be comfy. I don't think this looks very comfortable, and I'm not even sure it's tied right at the top there. But I'm tying him up for a bath.
So this was
on the hose,
my first try at giving him a bath,
Standing on the hose. Oh,
which
you're
he
gonna
was
pull everything out of the ground.
kind of
too.
okay
Let's
with
untangle you.
for a while.
Let's untangle you. You're gonna pull that post right out
But
of the
now I know
ground,
not
buddy.
even to bother because he immediately goes and rolls in the mud. And talking to other people who own donkeys, that's normal.
Sized up
They just
donkey.
That's what they do.
Covered in suds and shampoo.
I might give him another bath this summer, and we'll see.
Get the brushing
I do enjoy
together.
cuddling on him, and he's much nicer when he's been bathed.
Okay with it.
But then he just goes and rolls in the mud.
You wanted the audience we had a second ago.
Look at that poor, wet donkey. He's so fat.
Yeah. Wet donkey. He was kind of mad at me, but something changed his mind. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, you can always bribe the donkey
You know
with
what?
sweet treats.
What a handsome wet guy. You smell better.
Yeah,
You smell better.
he smelled much
Not ready
better
for me to
after
pet
that.
you yet. All right. You just need a little time. I'm out. I'm out of treats.
What a
I'm out
spoiled
of treats,
brat.
buddy. I think he's forgiven me.
He's so cuddly.
90%.
So at this point, I have all of the goats at my property, but I'm not going to keep these goats. That's too many for me. Like, I've got my 4 goats, so I need to find new homes for those other goats, but they need some health care first. They needed to be checked over, and those hooves needed attention.
How about a quick update on Murphy the rescue donkey? Hey, Murph. Now, every donkey I've been around.
Yeah,
he's
Murphy
never
was
been that
silent
mad.
for the
He's really
first
loud.
week
But
or
Murphy
2.
doesn't really make much noise at all, except he's just starting. Murphy.
And then he
Let's
started
see if I
this,
can
like,
catch it. It's just barely making noise.
Little
I'm
whimper.
sure he'll get so loud I'm annoyed with it eventually, but right now it's so cute.
now he's so
You got
loud.
anything to say to me, Murphy? You're trying.
I don't know if you could hear that. It's just the
What's that noise?
quietest little
What's
whimper.
that noise?
Oh.
Murphy.
He still does it when I
Are
feed
you
him.
making noise at me? Do it again.
Yeah, you can't
So
really hear that.
quiet.
It's real quiet. So this is, I'd had him for a week or 2, and I started giving him breakfast every morning.
Good
It's
morning,
amazing
babies.
how quickly they, adapt and learn who has the food and what the rhythm is.
I know you're not used to this yet, but you want some breakfast?
You see them all coming, curious,
You want some breakfast?
even though I had tackled them. So it's really hard not to get attached to these critters at
I'm gonna
this
hook
point.
you up.
They're so
I'll
cute
get you some
and so
breakfast.
adorable, and I'm caring for
Here you go.
them. So it was hard not
Good
to get
morning,
attached to
Murphy.
all these other goats.
Good morning, Murphy.
And you can
Oh,
tell
I
I'm
can't-
already
I can't get some lovin'.
totally in love
Maybe
with
it's the
Murphy.
fence. All right. You've been rolling in the mud since I gave you a bath. Good job.
And you can see how filthy
All right.
he is
Let me
already.
get your breakfast. Let me get your breakfast, baby. Everybody's eating food.
Had to spread their food out
Beautiful
everywhere into
food.
different bowls because they'll fight over it. You can see the 2 males there
All
fighting
girls
over
like to
one
fight
bowl.
over it. This guy is a pig.
Murphy is a
He
pig.
goes and gets the goat's food instead of his food.
All right.
I may have created a monster.
So Murphy started getting more affectionate
Boy.
right off the bat and requesting more attention, which I happily gave him. And here I'm demonstrating how he will ask for more loving. He kind of nudges you. Now he almost lifts me up doing that, even when I'm petting him. Look at that sweet, sweet boy, just asking for loving.
Okay.
I was in my pajamas.
All right. Okay.
So you can tell
Probably
I'm
shouldn't encourage that either.
totally in love with
Now that I
Murphy
think
here.
about it. Since Murphy is so good on a lead, and since I want him to be Murphy, are you gonna prove me wrong here? And since I want him to be in with my goats eventually, I've been taking him daily over to say hi to my goats.
Oh, yeah, I started out
We just go on a little walk.
just doing little
I
amounts
wanted
of
to show
time.
Everybody who's been commenting before, I'm not wrapping this around my hand anymore or around my waist.
I learned my
They're all
lessons.
totally right. A lot of people saw my my video of bringing Murphy home, and they saw I had the lead wrapped around my hand and then around my waist, and that's wrong with an animal this size. I'm so used to the goats, I thought, with the goats I can overpower them. I don't even put them on a lead generally. I just grab them. but that was wrong of me to have that wrapped around my hand.
So here I am. I'm
Whatever,
taking him for
whatever.
little amounts of time to
And we're both
spend
learning.
next to my goats, so they can get to know each other. They were separated by a fence, and so he had to get to know my goats. I didn't want to just throw him in there with him, because again, the ultimate goal was for him to stay with my goats, where he is now.
Okay, the sun is finally coming up. We're gonna go give the goats and the donkey their breakfast.
So he'd
They've
go
only
back
been
to his
here,
pen with
for
his herd
a
every
few
night,
days.
but spend a little time with mine during the
They've only
day.
been here a few days, and they're already starting to figure out.
Oh, okay. So I guess this was still the
want
first
to
week
feed
that I had
dinner.
them.
Look at this.
So all this
And
has
is all
happened in
gonna
1
change
week that you've
Thursday when I
seen.
have to tackle a few of them for the vet. Morning, Murphy.
I'm coming out to give them some breakfast, and you
Look
can
at
see
the
them
goats.
warming
They're
up
coming
to
say
me.
hi. Come on, goats. Yeah.
Little Waddles there.
Get
She
you
was
some
the
food.
bravest.
Let me say hi to Murphy first, and then I'll get you some food. Morning, Murphy.
You can hear Murphy's little whimper.
All right. Will you move your food bowl? That's for Murphy.
And you have to, just like my goats, you have to put food in a bunch of bowls spread out, or else they just fight over it, and whoever the biggest is gets all the food. Which in my case is usually Chester, so I gotta spread it all out so Gilly and Rick can get some.
All right, we're spending a little time with Murphy here. Just getting some loving in. If we look here, look at his cheek. See how his cheeks are swollen out?
And here I'm pointing out that he's got these really bumpy
These are his
cheeks,
teeth.
so his teeth need
I think
floated.
they just need floated.
Get
Or
the
if you're
vet to look at
familiar
'em.
With farm animals, that means ground down.
I'm
They just take a rasp
I'm
or
learning
a special tool and they
this
grind
whole
'em
time,
down.
you know,
I don't know.
how things
The vet's
work.
coming Thursday. The vet will hopefully look at all that.
We'll
And
get to
then
that.
The farrier is coming in a couple weeks to
Look at his hooves. They were so bad. All right.
I think I'm gonna take Murphy here down and see the river. We'll see. I don't know if he'll make it all the way down there. I mean, it's not real
I started
far,
taking
but
Murphy for longer
all new to
walks
him.
just for fun,
Murph,
because
hey,
it's
buddy.
fun
Let's
to
go this way.
pretend to be a farmer.
You're doing great, buddy. All this
So-
new stuff.
Took him for a walk down to the river. He
This
got to
tall
see all the
grass.
land and all the grass.
That rope halter thing is not fitting him right. I need to retie
He's such
it
a
all,
good
or
boy.
Just get a smaller one or something. What's up, Murph? You hear that tractor? Okay, this is kind of a narrow little path down to the water. You hear it? Well, you're not hesitating at all, are you?
He's such a good boy.
Okay, let me get ahead of you here. You want to come down? Maybe he hesitated a tiny bit. He's coming. It's kind of downhill and gravel, so it's a little weird for him.
It was his first time seeing the river.
Come on down, buddy. You did it.
I still bring him down
Hey,
sometimes.
Look at this river. What do you think of this? Come down to the water.
I think this summer I'll take him down and I'll get in the water and see what he does. I gotta be careful because he gets spooked a little easy and wants to run
Have you ever
away.
been to a river before, Murphy? Look at all this water. Come over here to the water, buddy.
He
Hey,
did
come
not
here.
want to get any closer to the water.
No, he didn't want to get too close. He doesn't want to get too close, and that's okay. You ready to go back up? Now wait for me. Wait for me. Had a little moment of almost freak out there. A little nervous. We'll just head home. We're just gonna go back home, Murph.
Listen to
We'll
those
go back right
cicadas.
now. Nice and slow and calm.
Can't wait for summer.
Here we go. Going back the way we came. It's okay.
So just getting used to Murphy. Let's see what's
Good
next here.
boy.
Hoof trimming day. This was a fun one. So look at those horrible hooves on Black Phillip there.
Just want to record how bad these are before they get all chopped off.
So this needed to be sorted before we found him a new home. You can see how long those are. They were insane. And I tackled him, which I caught. You can hear him yelling.
Yep.
And then the vet comes in.
It's fine. I just wanted to show that it happened.
Yeah.
You can see how out of breath, out of shape I am.
People online that watch.
Little Brazilian jiu-jitsu on the goats to hold him down. You can see I'm holding his horns there so he doesn't get me. And then the vet is using all kinds of tools to get these hooves clipped off. And Murphy, of course, keeps coming to check in. And it took us probably, I don't know, maybe an hour, maybe a half hour of just trimming on these hooves to get them down to a reasonable size. And you can't just do it all at once. You kind of have to trim them down as far as you can and then wait a few months and do it again so the core retracts into the hoof a bit.
Big shout out to Hunter at Christian County Veterinary Services who did the trimming on those hooves. They were a mess. He trimmed off as much as he could. And it's a long process. You got to let them heal and then trim them some more and then let them heal. But we got it done. So Philip's hooves are trimmed. I'm ready to try to find these poor goats a new home. What do you think, Philip?
Look at these hooves. They're so much better. They're not perfect.
Look at how
He still
get
walks
around
funny.
now. He's still walking funny, but he's moving.
Yeah.
Good morning, Murphy.
Oh. He's so cute.
So you're letting everybody know your honker's fixed, huh?
He started yelling at me. Now he yells at me every
Thanks,
morning as
buddy.
soon as the lights turn on in the
Let me get
house
this bucket. I'll
at
feed you all
5:30 in
some
the morning.
breakfast.
He knows I'm sleeping in.
I might have to discourage that.
It might bug the neighbors, but it's the neighbors who had
How
him
about
before,
the
so
vet's take on Murph.
that's... this is stuck over here.
Good morning, Murphy. How about the vet's take on Murphy? While the vet was here and we did Philip's hooves, he's doing much better, by the way, walking like a normal goat, more or less. We also did a checkup on Murphy here.
In short, the vet said he's fat, he's probably 10 years old, and he needed his teeth floated, which was going to happen later. And he was packing food in his mouth, which is because of his nasty teeth. But he was healthy overall, aside from being fat. There's not much you can do about the fatness.
Take a look at Philip here.
Looking at Black Phillip's hooves again, looking much better. I decided not to castrate them because I thought it'd be easier to find them a home as a breeding stud for a dairy goat farm. And it was. People were happy to have them.
They're getting more used to me. They don't run quite as fast.
Petunia? Waddles, come here.
They started warming up to me. I could have been friends with the babies and
Murphy, you
Waddles, I'm
scared
sure.
her. Waddles,
Probably never would have been friends with
Here, Waddles.
Philip, an old guy.
come here, Waddles. Waddles.
But Waddles was half won over,
Come
and
here.
the babies were tempted.
Come on, you can do it, Waddles. Come on.
I got to where I could
Come
feed
on,
Waddles
Murphy,
and
get back.
Petunia out of my
Murphy,
hands.
get
And almost
back,
Dewey.
Murphy. Mwah.
But Murphy
You
was
got
such
some.
a
You
pig
just had
that he
one.
would always push his
Waddles.
way to get the treats.
Come on,
He could overpower these goats.
Petunia.
Now, they were only about half the size of my goats.
Come here, Waddles.
So he runs
Get it.
from my goats, but
Oh,
those goats he would push away.
I fed Waddles. I touched
She was so
Waddles.
cute. I should have kept her. She was pregnant, though,
Ow.
and I didn't want to deal with
Okay,
it.
you got the treat. So my ultimate goal is to have my baby goats mixed together with Murphy and whatever goats end up staying. So Murphy comes over here and he spends some time each day separated by my goats with this little fence here.
So this
Just
was
so they can get
Murphy
used to each other. So they don't hurt
learning
each
my
other.
goats.
And the other goats are just staying over there because there's no way for me to easily move them They won't follow me over here. I can't throw a leash on them.
I did that for quite a while. Murphy just spent time next to my goats for a long time before I let him in. And then one day I let him in and he just ran over to him. We'll see that in a bit.
Breakfast time.
More breakfast.
And here's a solid sign they're warming up to me.
Look at him lined up.
Over that begging?
It's awful different than it was a couple videos ago, isn't it?
Oh no, you're gonna get quiet?
Just begging for food.
Wait,
Lined up
hold it.
at the food bowls waiting.
Okay.
They learn
That means
quick.
They know I'm the one that brings the food. Goats learn very quickly. Very quickly. And what's interesting is, the longer you have goats, the more you can tell their sound apart. Dewey there has a very specific kind of guttural noise.
Yeah. I was learning all their individual voices and stuff.
It's either Pumpkin or Petunia there, I can tell.
I was
as
getting too
well.
attached.
Hey, Petunia. Here, Pumpkin.
Treats are
Oh, yeah, you
magical
wanna
for
try out?
goats. Never got the old ones to take treats from me, but the
Little
babies, like
Little
Petunia
cutie.
there,
Hi, Petunia.
and Waddles,
Yeah.
I was
Here you
feeding.
go. Oh, I dropped it. Here you go.
They were so cute.
There you go. So, today is going to be a bit of a tough day. I've got somebody coming that might be taking most of the goats. They're interested mostly in the ladies. Now, like I said, Waddles, the white one, is staying with me and Murphy, but Pumpkin and Puddin' and Petunia are probably going to go, maybe even Dewey. So I've constructed a kind of funnel over here that I'll scare them all into and then gather them up.
This is
and
fun to
it'll be
watch.
so
I'm gonna
hard to say
tackle these
goodbye
goats.
today. I'll try to catch a little video, but I always feel weird, you know, getting strangers on video and taping around them. So we'll see. I don't know. It's funny. I was talking with my wife last night, and like, I've gotten attached to these goats. They've only been here 2 weeks. They're not tame, but I've gotten attached. And like, when I found them, I could have called somebody to come pick them up and not thought another thing of it, but having somebody come take them now just feels sad. But it's a lot of animals, and we don't need all those extra animals. So we'll see how it goes today. It'll be sad saying goodbye to them, but they'll go off to a good home. They've got a couple kids, children. Say goodbye, Dewey. You gotta go to a new home, buddy. All right, they're going to a new home. All right, here we go.
Here we go. Watch me tackle these poor animals. It's Waddles' turn, the white one. Get him cornered, and then slam him against a wall. Oh, listen to her yell. She was so scared. She was pregnant, and I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with a pregnant goat.
Okay.
So she went to a dairy farmer.
Okay, Waddles. All right. She's gonna go to a new home. Okay. Okay, we're gonna say goodbye to everybody. We got all the ladies and Dewey are going to a new home. I know I said I was gonna keep Waddles, but we changed our mind. Murphy will be fine. He's been fine over there on his own.
All right.
Bye, Petunia.
So they all
Bye,
went to a new
everybody.
home.
Look at that.
This was the day I let Murphy
Gone
in with
over
my
to the
goats, and he immediately just ran over to them. He wanted to be
Over
with them.
Check out what they're doing.
You can see how
Right,
big
even
my
with the
goats
phone
are.
out.
They're nearly as big as Murphy.
So Murphy's been spending the whole last week, most of the day he spends in this segregated area right next to my babies. And then I've been letting him come over with them for just like 15 minutes at a time, just to see how they'll react to each other. And so far, everybody's been cool. And I just let him in here, and he just ran straight to them to go hang out with them.
Aw, Chester being
And my
curious.
concern is that Chester or Rick will headbutt him, which could be an issue.
And we never have had an
Rick
issue
and
with
they've been
Chester or
together
Rick
away from
hitting
me.
Murphy.
Usually I'm standing in between them. Tomorrow, a wonderful farrier is going to come and work on Mr. Murphy's hooves. I'll try to share that. We'll see. I
Murphy
don't
still had the
like to
bad
film
hooves.
strangers that much. But you can see here, they're pretty rough. They're in rough shape. I just put my hand on
So they
their
hadn't
hoof.
been trimmed in years, and they needed it really
Tomorrow
bad.
We'll get those trimmed, and I'm sure he will be
And that did not go well.
happy with the process.
I didn't get it on video, but that was when I learned I could control Murphy
See that one?
more or less, even if he was in a full-on panic bucking, as long as I have a close grip on his lead up at his chin. The farrier got them trimmed down, you'll see, but they're not perfect yet. They need to be done again, but they're not that bad anymore, luckily. That's really
I
bad.
think they're actually supposed to be up around.
So let's see.
So Murphy here, hey Murph, is getting used to the goats. I wouldn't say he likes
He
them.
was slowly getting used to them.
he's
He'd get
getting-
closer
I
to
mean-
them.
He's getting close to them.
He's still kind of like that.
Follows the chickens around a bit, which is kind of funny.
This was the beginning of the chickens following Murphy around and Murphy following the chickens around. At this point,
Real happy to, like,
I only
watch
had
the goats
2
and
chickens left
race
from
with
my
the
flock.
goats. He's getting used to them.
And Murphy immediately seemed to like the chickens.
And he hangs out with them, of course, all 24/7 now. Spends the night with them and stuff. What? Did you see it?
All right,
Both chickens
this is an important video.
were on top of Mr. Murphy. There's only one on there now.
That was when I first noticed the chickens climbing on Murphy's back,
What are y'all doing?
which is now just a normal thing. That chicken is there all the time now.
What are you doing?
Chicken and Murphy are ridiculous.
I mean, cool. Get the flies. Clean them up.
And he seems to like it.
One thing that Mr. Murphy is going to have to get used to over here with my little herd of goats is the fact that Chester is my little baby and super cuddly and doesn't want to give me space out here.
So Murphy and Chester still kind of argue over who
Come over and
gets
lay
all of
down
my
next to
attention.
me. And if Murphy
And
wants
Chester
to play with me,
wins.
He's going to come in too.
Because Murphy will back off and walk
He's
away.
going to have to share space with Chester. Isn't that right, Mr. Murph? You're going to have to share space. An update on Murphy's hooves. The farrier came yesterday. Now, if you don't know the story, Murphy is a rescue donkey that I found. He had
I was
severely
covered in grass. I just mowed the lawn.
and he and I are buddies now, but I didn't know how he was going to do with the hooves. I'll insert some footage of his nasty hooves here. You can see that one. It's
So this is just talking about what a fit he threw at the farrier. He did not like it. Let's move on.
Morning. Today's going to be a fun day. Murphy over here behind me, he's getting his teeth floated today. Now, if you're unfamiliar with horses and donkeys and stuff, floating means they grind their teeth down.
So,
Now,
yeah,
if
it
you've
was
been
time to
watching
get
the
his
videos
teeth
of
ground.
Murphy, I rescued him out of a field. He had been kind of ignored for a long time, hadn't had his maintenance done, so he was, when he would eat food, it would collect and he'd get these big old chipmunk
I don't know if it's
pouches
this video where we actually
in his
do
teeth.
the
That's
the
bad.
grinding.
So
Maybe
we're
I
gonna
just
come out today
talk a
and
bit.
sedate him and grind his teeth down. It'll be delightful.
It's the next video probably.
Murphy, the rescue donkey, was sedated this morning to have his teeth ground down. So let's go see.
Oh,
if he
this is
sobered up
afterwards.
And if he's still
He took
mad at
so
me.
much sedation,
I don't think
so
he will
much,
be.
because he was
It's
scared,
been
and he
surprising
fought
me
it.
how quickly he forgives me. for
But then
this
he
stuff.
was walking around drunk
Hi,
for
Goats.
hours
Where's
afterwards,
Murphy?
after they ground his
Did he run
teeth.
away?
So at this point,
He
I
is mad.
think
Okay, I've had a lot of people
all
ask
the
me
other
about
goats are gone,
if Murphy uses
and it's
his
just
shed.
Murphy. Not
really. I mean,
And
he does
we're
this, which is
about
close.
caught up.
He's getting some water right
That's
there.
about what he looks like
Getting some
now.
water. So he's not scared of it. We'll see if he gets under it. In
That's
the
my
rain
boy.
And snow.
That's my boy
But
Murphy.
What you really need to look at is how.
And that
freaking
brings us to current day.
Move,
you know,
Chester. I gotta give him.
Here he is in his winter coat,
Oh, you sweet boy.
and that's how we
Oh,
hang
you
out,
sweet
and that's
boy.
how we communicate. So now you're caught up on the saga of
Oh,
Murphy.
I love you so much, Murphy.
I love him so much. He's so sweet. He's my baby. Poor guy was neglected for so long, and he's so cuddly.
Oh, I love
Look how
you
fluffy
so
he
much.
is. Look how fluffy he
How
is.
can you be so cuddly? Why didn't anybody tell me that donkeys were so snuggly? I didn't know this. I didn't know this about them. And goats aren't
And look
too
at
bad
Chester
either.
there being jealous. And Murphy walks off.
I can't believe I went until I was in my 40s without this. Look at this cute mouth. That's so cute. So, as you saw, Murphy, that's how Murphy came to be with me. He's now my bestest buddy. He's all floofy in his winter coat now, but he's still sweet and so handsome, and he yells at me every morning begging for breakfast, and he's the sweetest thing, and I love him so much. And that's the story of Murphy.